Once in Lourdes, Yolanda and I were expecting a retreat, but they kept us busy. Of course, we had daily Mass, 3 community meals each day, participated in Rosary and Eucharistic processions, holy hours, were anointed, toured the places where Saint Bernadette lived, and did some shopping. But since the genesis of our trip was to experience God's presence, I'd like to describe a few instances where God's grace was particularly powerful. The first is the loving care with which the nurse assigned to me showed us. Mary met us at LAX and right away we fell for her infectious smile, gracious spirit, and generous nature. She went above and beyond, staying by my side all week, feeding me, helping Yolanda with my machines, and so much more. To a person, everyone who got to know her told us how wonderful our Florence Nightingale was, and how blessed we were to have her. Several student volunteers from Franciscan University of Steubenville, Ohio, chose to spend their break from study abroad in Austria with us in Lourdes. We had 2 lovely nursing students, Kaylin and Susanna, assigned to us. Among their tasks was to push our wheelchairs, mine to conserve my energy, and Yolanda's so she could stay next to me. One evening, our group had a talent show, and the students were the stars. They were so confident and free to express themselves that it brought tears to our eyes. We found out that most of them had been homeschooled. That made perfect sense to me because of the thousands of students I've taught for more than 40 years. The homeschooled ones typically stood out as leaders and most social. By far, the clearest presence of God took place at the grotto, where Mary, the Mother of God, appeared to the young Bernadette, introducing herself as the Immaculate Conception, and asking her to dig into the ground to reveal a healing spring of water that's still flowing. My reason for taking this trip was not to seek healing from ALS, but to take Yolanda to the place where heaven touched earth, and ask that she be showered with the Lord's grace and receive the healing she needed. Throughout our marriage, I've been in awe of my wife's love and devotion to the Blessed Mother, and am confident she's open to receive whatever blessings the Lord wants her to have. After one of the masses in the grotto, we witnessed what may have been a healing. A woman sitting right in front of us sprung out of her seat and began jumping up and down like a young child would. The look on her face was of pure joy, as if she was surprised to be able to move her legs so freely. After her row cleared out, she took off running around the grotto as if she hadn't been able to run for years. Whether it was a physical healing or not, it was definitely a spiritual one. When I was there in June of 2018, the baths were closed due to flooding. Since then, one of my prayers has been to be bathed in Lourdes water. After signing up for the pilgrimage in June, I contacted the director of the baths, and he told me that there were no plans to reopen them. As an answer to prayer, and only 5 days before our trip, we learned that the baths had just been reopened for the first time since COVID, on a limited basis, by appointment only, and our group had the appointments. The water in the bath was very cold, but it didn't seem to matter to me. While I usually shiver, I was surprisingly comfortable. The team with me was so caring, and their rituals and prayers were very moving. I offered my intentions to Mary, asking her to take them to her Son, the Lord of Lords. No moment of my life has been more joyful.